Make sure you are registered to vote. You must be a United States citizen to register to vote. If you have moved from one city to another, you must re-register to vote in your new community each time you move. The close of registration is the last day you can register to vote before an upcoming election. This date is always 30 days before each election. Once you are registered to vote, you do not need to re-register again unless you move to a new community. Michigan requires that you register to vote in the community in which you reside, which should also be the address that is on your driver's license or state ID. Know what precinct to go to. When you register to vote, you will receive a voter's identification card in the mail. This voter ID card lets the voter know the precinct location that the voter must go to for voting. This card is not used for identification and does not need to be presented at the precinct to vote. It only lets the voter know where to vote. Request an absentee ballot if you plan to be away from your community on the day of the election. This includes working, vacation, business trip, hospitalization. You may vote by absentee ballot if you meet any of the following qualifications. A voter must submit a written request and include their signature in order to obtain a ballot. Absentee ballot requests can be submitted as much as 3 months prior to an election. The city clerk's office will begin to mail absentee ballots no later than 30 days prior to an election. Requests for absentee ballots can be made up until the Saturday prior to Election Day. The city clerk's office is open from 8:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. to process absentee ballot requests. This is the last day that the city clerk's office can mail an absentee ballot to a voter. A voter can come into the city clerk's office the day before each election to obtain an absentee ballot. The city clerk's office can issue absentee ballots from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. However, the voter must vote the ballot in the office and cannot take the ballot home. Ballots cannot be issued after 4 p.m. on this day, per state election law. Photo ID is required to obtain a ballot in person. An absentee ballot cannot be given to anyone other than the person it has been issued to. This means a spouse, parent, child, or neighbor cannot obtain an absentee ballot for you. If you are unable to be present, we will mail a ballot to you upon receipt of your application. Call the city clerk's office at 586-469-6818 to see if you are registered to vote and to find out where your precinct is located prior to Election Day. Permanent absentee list. The city clerk's office maintains a permanent absentee list for voters who would like to vote by absentee ballot for every election. If you are interested in being added to the list, simply contact the city clerk's office to request to be added. Be an informed voter. Watch the local news, read the papers, or contact the city clerk's office to find out what is on the ballot prior to Election Day. Knowing how you would like to vote prior to going to the precinct will help reduce the amount of time spent at the precinct. You can also find a list of candidates or proposals on the Macomb County Elections website. Precinct hours. Precincts open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Showing ID at the precinct. A voter will be asked to show a photo ID at the precinct to vote. If a voter is not in possession of their photo ID, they can sign an affidavit stating so and will be allowed to vote. Absentee voting. If you are voting by absentee ballot, the ballot must be returned to the city clerk's office at City Hall, located at 1 Crocker Boulevard, anytime prior to Election Day, but no later than 8 p.m. on Election Day. Absentee ballots are counted on Election Day by the Absentee Counting Board, which is located at City Hall. Primary election voting. Only at the primary elections held in August of each even year, be aware that you cannot cross parties or split your ticket when voting. The votes you cast must remain within one political party only, Republican or Democrat. If you cast a vote for a candidate in both parties, your ballot will be rejected at the tabulator. Return your ballot to the election inspector at the precinct, or if you are voting by absentee ballot, return the ballot in person to the city clerk's office to obtain a new ballot. Obtaining results. Election results can be found at the city clerk's office, on the city's website, and on the Macomb County Elections Department website. Contact the city clerk's office at 586-469-6818 with any questions you may have.